Hi friends, it's Bella and welcome to Beauty on a Budget, and it's my question and answers today. I asked you, I think a couple of weeks ago on Instagram and Facebook and on YouTube that I wanted to do questions and answers, and that you could send me any question you like, and you did. So many of you did. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. That means so much to me. What it does mean though is I couldn't possibly do all the questions in one sitting. So if you like questions and answers, I can make another one for the the new year, including the questions that I haven't added this time. You can ask me some. It's entirely up to you. But if you don't hear your name mentioned, I'm so sorry. There's just too many, and I will, if you want me to, I will make another one in sometime in the new year. So the ones that I've tried to pick ones that were asked more than once or twice. So let's get started and see if you can guess my answers. So the first one was from Clara on Facebook. She also has a YouTube account, and it was, what is the favourite part of doing your makeup, and what is the least favourite? Actually doing my makeup, and not including skincare, because I love skincare routine, I would say my eyes. I love to do my eyes. I love the artistry in it. I love makeup altogether. I adore it. You know that, guys. I'm so sorry about this shadow behind me. It's how the window is situated in here. Hopefully the light will change over the next few weeks, and that will go away. But yeah, I think my eyes. If I had a favourite part, I would say it's definitely my eyes, because I like it. I like the artistry, I like working, and I like the different shapes I can create. Yeah, that's definitely my favourite part. If it was my least favourite part, talking about the eyes, everything except the eyebrows. My least favourite part is my eyebrows, because I never seem to be able to get them right. So favourite actual eye, not so favourite eyebrows. Thank you, Clara, for asking me that. The next one is from Wendy Collins on Facebook. Hello Wendy, thank you. When did you first fall in love with makeup? Wendy says that it was her mum that influenced her. Yeah, my mum too. Not so purposely influencing me, but I just used to watch her every morning. And when I was very small, she would make up every day, and I'd just stand at her bedroom door. So one of those big old-fashioned dressing tables, you know, with the 3 mirrors. And I'd stand beside it, and I wasn't much taller than it. Not that I'm much taller than it now, but I wasn't much taller than it. And I used to watch and look at her applying makeup. And she used to have wet her mascara. It used to be like a little palette, looked like an eyeshadow, and she'd wet it and put that on there. And then she'd wet her blush, she'd put it on. And I just loved watching it. I loved it. And then as I got older, you know, my places I'd want to go is, I want to go to Elizabeth Arden, and I'd want to go to those places and look at the women and look at how they're making up. And I've loved it for as long as I can remember, really. So thank you, Wendy. Kate Walker from Instagram has asked me, if Baz and I were on a desert island and I was only allowed 6 items, what would they be? How long would we be on this desert island for? I'm going to keep this nice. Beauty products, definitely sunscreen would be the most important thing, would be sunscreen. I'll be thinking that we've got, if it's a desert island, you know, I'd say my iPad and my phone, because if it's a desert island we can't have them, can we? Because nowhere to plug them in. So my desert island is a very special desert island that has got electricity. So I would take lots of sunscreen. I would take hats, good hats. Obviously, yeah, I've got the rest of my clothes with me now. I'm just taking 6 things. Make sure I've got a good hat with a good brim. I take outside umbrellas, just to make sure, you know, I was covered. And books. I mean, it's so many things you'd want to take, isn't it? But if I could, and it was a magic island with electricity, I'd take my iPad and my phone. So, thank you so much, Kath. And D. Melton from Instagram. Thank you so much for taking the time to ask me something. Am I a big reader? And has any book had an influence in my life, or maybe a movie that's had an influence in my life? I think book-wise, when I was about 13 years old, I read about 13, 14 years old, I read the autobiography of Helena Rubinstein, and I was just mesmerised. I mean, I've read others since, Coco Chanel and Elizabeth Arden and Estee Lauder, but when I was young, the one on Helena Rubinstein, it just really mesmerised me, and it just made me more determined to, you know, and more in love with all these beautiful products. And you don't hear much of Helena Rubinstein now. When I was younger, it was very much Helena Rubinstein and Clarins, Elizabeth Arden, Charles of the Ritz. They were really popular brands when I was younger. But yeah, Helena Rubinstein's autobiography, and I must, probably about 14, 15, I would say. I was no more than that, I know, because I was still at school. So that would be the book, I'd say. The film that's influenced me the most in my life, or made the biggest impact of me in my life, was one when I saw again when I was about 18 years old. And it was a black and white film, and it was called A Patch of Blue. And it was with Sidney Poitier and Elizabeth Hartman. And it showed a teacher, it shows a teacher who goes into a New York school, and he's a black teacher, and, you know, not very common in the area, and it shows a prejudice that's against him. And he meets a girl in the park, and she's blind, so he befriends her and helps her, because she needs a lot of help in so many aspects of her life. He helps her, but she doesn't realise he's black. And it's just opened my eyes to so much of how the world was then, and still is in a lot of ways. It was the first time that I'd ever seen anything, I suppose, of real prejudice. I'd seen a film that really touched my heart, of real prejudice. So, yeah, I would definitely say if I was influenced by any film, it would be definitely A Patch of Blue. Thank you so much for asking. Now, Kathy, who calls her channel is Fry Inspector. I think that's how she pronounces it, Fry Inspector. But her name is Kathy. And Sherry, also my lovely friend on here. Thank you, ladies, so much for asking this. A few of you did ask this. Where did I meet Baz? I met Baz on the internet. We were playing a board game, and it was, you know, you played with other people. It was just different. It was kind of a Cluedo-y type game. It wasn't Cluedo, but it was that type of thing. And he was one of the other people that was on the game. And we used to talk in a little chat that came down the side. And we got on, and we, you know, really got on with each other, and then we would email each other personally, and then we met up, and the rest is history. And Angie 21, I think she asked me this on YouTube. Favourite nude lipstick? Well, of course, Velvet Teddy. My favourite nude any lipstick, I've got it on today. My favourite lipstick, nude, definitely Velvet Teddy by MAC. Thank you so much for asking. Sheila from Inside Beauty. I know my lovely Sheila. I love this lady. I do love her. She's a one-off, and she's dear to my heart. Am I a coffee drinker? Oh dear me. This is not a very good influence over the other people. Yes, I am. And I drink too much of it. And I've started drinking decaf most of the time now. But still have a coffee in the morning. But yes, I do drink coffee. I love coffee. I love tea. And if it's a weakness and if it's something I do too much and hold my hands up to, it is I drink too much coffee. I do. Thank you, Sheila, for asking that and bringing out all my bad points. You must have known that. Mary Joy. When did I switch to e-cigarettes and did I put on weight? I switched to e-cigarettes about 4 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago. I was never a heavy smoker. But I did smoke, and I smoked every day. And they got to be such a ridiculous price. I'd like to say, honestly, hand on heart, I'd like to say it was completely for my health, but it wasn't. I had situations going on, and cigarette helped me. A cigarette just helped me, and they still would. It's that comforting thing. And if you've been a smoker, I'm sure you understand that. But they just got to be the most ridiculous price. I mean, I don't know what they are over the rest of the world, but cigarettes here are like £10 a packet. £10 a packet. That's £140 a week if you smoke 20 a day. And I said, no way. I've got to stop this. But I have been on e-cigarettes now, and I just stopped smoking, and I went on the e-cigarettes, and I've been on the e-cigarettes now for, I'd say 4 years. Sometimes I have a cigarette at Christmas, and if I'm very, very stressed and I'm with someone who smokes, I still have a cigarette now, but very, very rarely. And I'm not fighting to get off e-cigarettes, because to be honestly, I probably am nicotine addicted. I don't know, but I know it helps me. I know it helps calm me. I know I can relax better if I've got it, and I'm happy with that. So yeah, about 4 years ago. Thank you, Mary. Leslie 55. What pets have you had since childhood until now? 2 questions. What pets have you had from childhood to now? Well, I had my first dog when I was 5 years old was called Lassie. But I remember him when I was 5. He was in the house. She was in the house from before I was born. And she passed away when I was about 8. But I learnt to walk with her. I used to hold her back and she used to walk. And I've still got little pictures like that. So Lassie, she was a black and white border collie. And then I was a cat person for a while, because my mum wasn't a big cat person. And she wasn't a big animal person really, because she was at work all the time. So it wasn't until I was about 17 that I worked when I was at college, I worked in a different shops. I told you before, I've worked in different stores, sort of to make money when I was at college and university. One of these shops was a shoe shop, independently owned shoe shop, and we had mice. We used to come in on a morning, and you could tell we had mice. And the owner decided to get a cat, and he got this dear little cat called Emma. Well, I called her Emma. It's always been my favourite name, Emma. My oldest daughter's called Emma. And he decided to get a cat, Emma. And I think it lasted about 5 days, and he said, oh, I can't be doing with this little thing running about. I can't be doing with that. You'll have to take it down. I said, I'll take it nowhere. I'll take it home. So anyway, I waited for Mum to come home again. And I said, oh, we've got a new little member of the family. But she said, no, I don't want it. Well, I put it on her. I put Emma on her. And honestly, within half an hour, oh. So then that was Emma. I had when I was about 17. And she was with my mum for years. Right up until my children were born. And after. So, yeah, then I had Emma. I had some cats myself when I was 3 cats myself when I first got married to my first husband. And then I didn't have animals anymore until I got Tess. And I have had Tess, she's 12, and I'm grateful for every day that I still have with her. And she's such a big part of my life, Tess. And I love her to bits. And you know I love her to bits. She's a little white Bichon Frise who thinks she's a Rottweiler. So that's been all my pets. Who was my first love and did I marry him? No. My first love's name was Jimmy. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you the Casey's watching. My first love's name was Jim. I was with him for 3 years. We talked of marriage, but I was still going away to uni, and you know, different things were happening in our lives, and we did break up and we went our separate ways. But I've heard lots of things since, through the grapevine, through mutual friends, over the years, that I probably had a lucky escape. So no, I didn't marry him. Okay. I can never say this either. Chickacoo Bay. Sheila, my Sheila. Hello, my darling. If I could have dinner with anyone and have a chat, across the table, have a chat, who would it be? And I can't have family or influencers. Well, thank you, Sheila. Does that include subscribers? I mean, I don't know anybody else. If I could have a meeting with anyone, so many people. There is so many people that I would love to meet. And people that I really admire. And, you know, I learned so much from just by watching them. And there's just so many people and so many questions I'd like to ask so many people. It's a really hard one to answer, because I could think about it again this afternoon and think of someone totally different. But if I could go to lunch with someone and really talk to them and really ask them what and where and how, I think it would be Michelle Obama. I think it would be Michelle Obama. Okay, so please take care of yourselves, guys. I think about you when I see you in, you know, commenting. I think I wonder how you are, and I wonder, you know, how Sheila is, and I wonder how, you know, Jeannie's coping, and it's such a horrid time, and you don't want to talk about it, but it is, isn't it? It's so unusual. It's such an unusual time, and I get so frightened for the people I love. I am a worried guts anyway. I am a proper worried guts, But I get really worried about the people I love, sometimes probably over concerned. But I just want everybody to be safe, really. Don't we all? We all do, don't we? So please, please take care of yourselves. I'll see you again in my next video. Don't forget, if you want me to do another question and answer, because that was just touching the surface, it would have been impossible. I'd still be here 8 o'clock tonight if you know, I'd answered them all. So if you'd like me to do it again, or if you'd like me to just leave it till next year like I normally do, I'll just leave it till next year. But whatever you want, I'll do, okay? So take care of yourselves. I'll see you in my next video. God bless, my darlings. God bless. Bye.